Hola, buenos días, soy Nico.
Slay Gooders, give it to them. I'm sorry. Cougar.
And today we are here for another wonderful week's worth of content. If you see me wince, I am extremely hungry. Nico, I woke up not too long ago and I went straight into working, so I have not eaten yet. And every time I speak, it's like my stomach goes, "Feed me, Seymour!" If you like musical theater, you know where that's from. But that's not why you're here. Today we're going to be discussing a topic that I originally, when I first started this channel, had been whacking bitches left and right for. But luckily, it hadn't been an issue for a good minute. Today we're going to be talking about tap dancing for business. Nico! And when I say tap dancing, you know what I mean. But in this connotation, I feel like there's a lot of misinformation swirling around one of the two topics I'm going to address. But before we get started and I get lost in ranting, if you like this kind of content, make sure to follow me on patreon.com/Nicosaesthetics for more exclusive lives, weekly videos, be a part of the live streams, where we have multifaceted conversations on different topics weekly. Somebody in the comments actually commented, "You really want us on Patreon, don't you?" Yes! I do, because YouTube hits every one of my videos with ad sustainability, meaning they get money off of the ads on my videos and I get nothing. So I actually earn my keep off of Patreon. If that sounds interesting to you and you want to support the channel, definitely check it out. If you can't support monetarily, just make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let's get on to the actual topic because we're like a minute and 30 seconds in. Today we're going to be talking about two different people. One is Diesel, who went viral over his conversation about sex work and white and black men, while the other is Ray Potts, who went viral because of his, I think his name is Lee, Nico. I don't tune into like twinks. That's not necessarily my demographic that I watch, but they basically got into it because he made some racial comments as a biracial man. So let's break it down one by one. We're gonna start off with Ray Potts because this one is like the lesser of the two evils. If you do not know Lee, I'm going to keep running with Lee. If his name is not Lee, correct me. I think it's Lee World or something. Lee and Ray Potts have had a history of filming content together, while Lee, first and foremost, was allegedly in a relationship with a girl, but multiple videos have been posted of him and Ray Potts, from Ray Potts topping him and Lee telling him not to film and Ray Potts posting it anyways because he wanted to get back at him. I was going to address that, but it flew over the radar because I have more pressing things.
Over some more, dude. We can, but let me just do it. Let me go for a little bit longer. Calm down. Calm down.
Then there was the whole situation where Lee, Ray Potts, and a third content creator were filming content in Lee's sugar daddy's home. And then the content creator and Ray Potts began to beat on Lee because he was the weaker out of the three. And he was basically not trying to cause as much drama as they were while they were ranting on Big O. And then I believe somebody pulled out a gun. I believe it was Lee because it was his home. And then the police were called and Ray Potts was escorted off the premises. And then they're filming again because they just can't stay away from each other. And in this most recent situation, Ray Potts basically grabbed Lee by the hair, playfully saying, "Oh, do it hurt?" And he was like, "Yeah." And then Lee tried to grab him by the waves, and he was like, "Oh, but I can't really grab your hair because, you know, you got nigga hair."
Hey, what?
That shit sand, nigga. Nigga, that shit sand, nigga. It does a little bit. Nigga, it's like, I can't even grab your shit, nigga. Motherfucking nigga hair, I can grab your hair. I can grab this.
If you don't watch what you say, I don't got nigga here.
Nigga, I'm black and white, bro. I can say that shit, nigga. You miss me.
You miss me.
I did, but I didn't know if you was gonna set me up or not.
Set you up for what? Come here.
Man, for failures.
And Ray Potts was sitting there like, don't say that, that's not cool. And he's like, I'm half black, I'm black and white, I could say it. And I wish I wish y'all would stand your ground with microaggressions like this, because Ray Potts then proceeded to blow it off and continue filming with him when he was just disrespecting you based on your black features as a biracial man. I know it's very controversial when I have this conversation on this channel. I personally do not view biracial people as black people. I believe they have black in them. They have black ancestry, as in they were born into the culture, but they do not navigate life as a black person, if that makes sense. I know a lot of people find that controversial, but if we even look at prison studies, they show that biracial and lighter skinned women, for example, get lesser prison sentences than fully black monoracial black women. So when we look at things like that, and you see how society as a whole views biracial and or lighter skinned people compared to monoracial and darker skinned people, I don't think this kind of commentary is acceptable whatsoever. I mean, it's not acceptable even if he was monoracially black, and that's a conversation a lot of black people don't have as well. When it comes to anti-blackness, it's usually excused in these conversations when someone says, okay, well, if this biracial person said it and it was wrong, why can this monoracial person say it? And they're like, oh, well, you know, they're black and they can... I don't find anti-blackness acceptable in any connotation. That's where I'm going to stand on, and I really wish that Ray Potts would have stood his ground and simply said, that's not cool, we're not doing this right now. If y'all wanted to, especially because you posted it. You posted it, and now you're mad at the controversy that's swirling because he just disrespected your blackness, and you kind of just went, it's okay, just to keep on fucking him. And I want y'all to start standing your ground. Now, on to Diesel. His situation is different in the sense that it's pertaining around sex work. Yes, he did say his preference was white people, but to my understanding, this video is surrounding sex work, because he later went on to say this was not about dating. I have dated white, I have dated black, I have dated blah, 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 blah. And then he posted pictures of him and his ex-boyfriends. And side note, that is one of my biggest fears. Nico, what do you mean? That I date somebody, whether they be black, white, mixed Latino, whatever the cause is, and then they post my picture of my black ass cheesing, grinning, going, oh, you see, I'm not racist, I'm not anti-black, I'm not self-hating, I fuck Nico. Like, my biggest fear. That's one of the reasons why none of my relationships have ever been online, because I'm like, bitch, I refuse to be your token that you're using as a conversation point. But back to the actual conversation.
I'm gonna clear it up for all of you who keep asking me. Yes, my preference is white men. When I'm working, I don't have a preference but green. That's my preference, okay? And I'm gonna tell you another thing. Let me explain this real clear to y'all. The white men don't be fucking fighting me on my prices. The white men, if they're gonna use me, they're gonna use me and pay me $5,000, okay? If they're gonna fucking do anything with me, they're gonna give me top fucking dollar. You niggas, you fucking black men, always, oh well, is it worth the quality? Is it, you broke ass fucking niggas. And I don't give a fuck about you getting mad about it. I don't give a fuck about who say what. I said what I fucking said. At all. I don't give a fuck about the notation of, of the black community and all. Man, fuck y'all. Fuck y'all. Y'all bitches don't pay my motherfucking bills. Fuck all y'all. When you pay a bill up in one of these apartments that I fucking got, or my mortgage, or any one of the fucking 4 cars that I drive, when you paying for that shit, then I hear what you gotta say. Until then, fuck you. Fuck your mama. All of you bitches. I don't give a fuck. And I don't give a fuck if I got 1 follower or fucking 4.
People are upset because he sat down and said, my preference when it comes to clientele is white people, because they actually pay me what I want to be paid. As in, if you want to get with me, you get with me for $5,000, and they don't budge on it. They don't try to negotiate. They don't try to reason. But with black people, and then he began to get slightly anti-black. But with black people, they want to nickel and dime you and say, I don't really think it's worth the price. And what I will say on that, because someone also joined in and said, I don't even pay $9.99 for porn. So I'm definitely not paying $5K for super happy adult fun time. So I don't understand why y'all have so many opinions on it, because he's basically saying this is pertaining strictly to work and my price ranges. And in this conversation, I always play devil's advocate. I always play devil's advocate for the sole fact that I have been told to my face by black people, strictly black people. I mean, I'm sure everybody pirates, everybody does it. I'm not going to sit up here and act like YouTube, like super happy adult fun time video sites aren't a thing. But black people in particular have told me to my face, I don't pay for adult cinematography. I don't want to pay for it. I don't have to pay for it. Free adult cinematography is all over the internet. So black people arguing you down on your prices, it's not something that's unheard of. But once again, that is not strictly a black people thing. And I feel like in these situations, people allocate it strictly to black people because that's the community they're coming from and that's the community they're expecting to pay top dollar for their content. In his particular situation, I'm not even going to say I'm familiar with his work. I didn't know who this man was from a can of paint, but he has the appeal of someone that white men would love. Nico, what do you mean? The gas station hazel contacts, the faux locks with the fade in like the spray. So, I mean, no offense to people who rock that fashion, but that's typically associated with black people that white people love. If I'm being quite honest, I don't understand the science behind it. I remember there was a whole conversation point that was running around that was like, how to bag a rich white man, and it's like, wear a terrible wig. And surprisingly, that is like one of the requirements. So it's a conversation that requires more nuance that I can bring to this kind of silly video. But I personally think, first and foremost, he is wrong for singling out black people when everybody pirates content. But I also feel like this is a conversation surrounding his sex work, where he's like, in my personal experience, white people pay me up front. I don't have to argue about my worth or argue about my prices. If they don't want to, they back up. If they do, they pay me. Black people, they will try to nickel and dime you. And once again, as somebody who does sex work with a mostly black and brown fan base, luckily, I have seen it too. Like, for example, my OnlyFans is $7.99. I post full movies. I post extra content. I post behind the scenes. And I've had some black people talk to me out the side of their neck saying, oh, well, I wanted this and you didn't give me this, so you're a blah, 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 blah. And they'll start attacking me. And I'm like, I mean, I'm giving you full product. I'm giving you a range of collabs. I'm giving you different, things, all with quality. But I feel like that's more of a conversation of our community being more strict and harder on ourselves rather than nickel and diming and pointing fingers at other people. For example, the videos that I do on white content creators, yes, they also get views, but half the time they don't get nearly as many views as my videos on black or brown content creators, for the sole reason that's our demographic. That's the people that we know. That's the people that we can, recognize off a look. But I definitely want to hear your opinions down below before I start ranting. How do you feel about the Ray Pot situation and the nigga hair comment coming from Lee, who is a biracial man, white and black, with a looser textured hair? Basically insulting his blackness, and Ray Pot's kind of just, sashaying away from the conversation so that he can continue to fuck on him. How do you feel about Diesel sitting down and saying, I prefer white clientele because they pay me up front and they don't nickel and dime me like the black clientele that I've had in the past? Because once again, it's a general statement that he shouldn't have made about black consumers as a whole, because I know for my example, the black audience that I have, when it comes to custom videos, they are willing to pay the top dollar. They are willing to pay however much I request for an appearance at an event, for an appearance in a campaign, because I'm a business person. I am very upfront. I respect people. I also respect black business, but I'm not going to sit up here and tell y'all that I haven't run into the same situation where black people will try to argue your price. And I'm just sitting here like, at the end of the day, if you're paying me for promotion, if you're paying me for campaigns, if you're paying me for specific videos, I know my audience and my reach. So me making a request for this amount of funds should not be nickeled and dimed, especially because I'm usually very reasonable with my requests. Nico, if I'm being quite honest, somebody with my reach, social media wise, reach on the internet, I could be requesting ridiculous prices, but I always go in with the mindset of, I'm supporting Black business. This is probably just a starter up. This is a starter brand that's just trying to get their foot on the ground. So I always request a more like lenient fee, but I still want you to respect my fee because I am providing you a service. But I definitely want to hear your opinions down below, because once again, both of them are technically in the wrong, because Diesel could have rephrased that a lot better. Like, you did not have to get ignorant and belligerent with Black people in particular to uplift your white clientele. And Ray Potts in particular, I think y'all need to stop being in contact. Just because y'all have had the police called on you, you've beat him up before, he's pulled a gun on you. It's just like, I don't understand the mindset of certain content creators where they're like, I'm locked in with him and this is just our love story. Bitch, struggle love is not the story for 2024. I'm sorry. But yeah, before I continue ranting, I'll leave the conversation up to y'all. Boop. And now for a brief yet sincere shout out to this week's Third Eye Tier subscribers, Southwestern Poppy and Edwin W. Your continued support is greatly appreciated, and thank you once again to everyone who supports the channel. And this week's live stream discussion will be over some of your favorite scenes with undeniable chemistry. If that sounds interesting to you, definitely tune in.